Hello, beautiful souls. How's everybody doing? Oh my goodness, what am I doing with my computer here? I don't know. Oh, where did I go? There I am. Okay, here we go. Mercury is messing with me today, guys. Oh my goodness. Hello, beautiful souls. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I want to make sure everything's working really good. I am Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. I'm so excited and grateful to be here. I haven't done a live stream in about a week or two, I think. I've gone to Mexico and I've come back, and it's been amazing and wonderful. And I got to do a new moon energy and the day out of time while I was there. And then when I came back, it was just work, 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 work. So I'm in between two shifts. I will be done this run on Sunday morning. I'm real excited about that. We will go live again on Sunday. Very special day. Today, we're going to talk about Venus, Venus through Gemini, through the constellation of Gemini, not the sign of Gemini. The sign is a completely different thing. It's just another name for the month of June, I think, Cancer. So we are going to examine Venus through these stars of Gemini, Castor, and Pollux. And she makes a very interesting conjunction this time around. It is with Jupiter. And this is huge. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, optimism, faith, spirituality. He's the guru. And being in Gemini, conjunct the star Sirius right now, we have about a year of this transit. Jupiter will not enter into Cancer until 2026 in June or July of 2026. So we have another year of this expansive energy of the mind, of learning, of knowledge, of connecting with our truth, of getting rid of old programs that don't serve us anymore, and really, really connecting with our stellar DNA. The star Sirius is one of those amazing stars, the scorcher, that was there at the rise and the fall of the Egyptian Empire. And in just a few days, we are also going to be experiencing the Sirius heliacal rising. So you'll see both Jupiter and Sirius and Venus rising at the same time if you look just before sunrise. So it's really, really spectacular. I'm going to go into that with you in great detail. Also this month is what I like to call Phi Day. I'm sure it's been around, but doing my decoding, I've realized that August 13th is the 225th day of the year, and it is the fractional Phi Day of 365. So in other words, if you take 365 and divide it by 225, you get the golden ratio. And that is August 13th. That's right at the exact conjunction of Venus and Jupiter with star Sirius. So a lot of interesting numerical codes coming through and astrological energy. And I'm just really excited to share all this with you. This is a really, really beautiful presentation. Wow, how's everybody feeling? Like Mercury retrograde, we have this amazing Earth trine between Pluto, Uranus, and Mars, between Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. And I heard there was a big earthquake last night. They call it a megaquake, 8.8 on the Richter scale, which is a logarithmic scale, meaning that the higher the number you get, the worse it gets by multiplicative factors of 10. So each point beyond the decimal, so from 0.7 to 0.8 is like 10 times stronger. It's not 0.1 times stronger. So these earthquakes are incredibly powerful, and it affected the entire globe. Like literally, my body felt like something ran through it yesterday. I don't know if any of you guys are having any sort of ascension symptoms, purging symptoms, but it's really, really incredible. My husband got a migraine today, one of those ocular migraines where you can't see for a little bit. So crazy, crazy stuff. So let me know in the chat how you guys are doing, how you're feeling. I thought that this presentation would be a nice way to just sort of absorb these energies that are coming for us, and also to distract us from the larger world around us, and just really, really get into the more subtler energies around Venus. She's a beautiful planet, and the conjunction with Jupiter is just going to expand that energy. So I invite you guys to type your questions in the comments, because I will check in from time to time. And then at the end, we can do a little Q&A. We might be here for a minute. I have about 100 slides, and I think that we might go about 90 minutes or more. So I'm sorry. I will try to leave timestamps at the end of this once the video is processed, for those of you that just want the astrology, and for those of you that are interested in the decode. But I promise you, you. It'll be the fastest hour and a half, 2 hours of your life because this is amazing. You will walk away very, very satisfied. Couple of announcements. I have so much going on, you guys. I'm so sorry. The Hellenistic astrology technique for 13 signs. We are going to do a live chart lab next Friday on the full moon on August 8th. And that class is awesome. That's linked below. You get a module about profections. You get a module about zodiacal release. Then you get a bonus module from the Stellar Foundations course on progressions. You have 3 modules to study before next Friday, and then we'll get together and teach you guys how to do it using your charts. If you've already purchased the class, that's awesome. And you'll hear me talking about a zodiacal release calculator for 13 sign astrology. And what I'm so excited about is I have a silent benefactor who has agreed to get some code together for me so that I can, on my website, provide a calculator for this complex technique. So instead of you having to go through the technique I teach, you can actually just learn it and then use the calculator to type in and get your timing technique for zodiacal release. It's really, really awesome. There isn't going to be another calculator like this on the internet, as far as I know. They all do it from your tropical chart, which is fine. You can look at that if you want to, but I have found that the Hellenistic techniques also work for the kind of astrology that we do, and it's really, really, really exciting. I am going to be a guest speaker for the International Sidereal Astrology Association's launch event, which is happening on September 27th. I'm one of the keynote speakers. I'll be the third speaker. Athen Kamenti is also there. And I'll be exploring some of my research. I have about 30 minutes, so I'm going to show just some really useful and helpful things that we can do with astrology using the 13 signs. So I'm excited about that. We have some guests coming on the channel in the coming month. I'll announce those as they get closer. And then, of course, my solar return's coming this weekend. So, yeah, lots of big stuff. And I'm excited to be here with you guys. Let's see what you guys are talking about. All right. Let's see. We've got Jackie Daly. We've got Bazteca. What's up? Lori, thank you so much for being here and being at all my live streams and helping me keep these crazy, beautiful souls in check. Not like we really need that. Teresa is here. Bazteca, you're just lighting me up with emojis. Thank you so much. A1 says we hear you. Sounds good. Let's see who else is here. Lori's been purging. Yeah, a volcano erupted too yesterday as well in Russia. I think it was the tallest volcano in the Northern Hemisphere. I think that people were actually more prepared for this event than they have been in a very, very long time. And the reason I say that is because when I was hanging out last night, just kind of waiting for stuff to happen, I listened to my YouTube subscriptions, and I am subscribed to Stefan Burns. And also to Dutch Sign, I guess, and he does earthquakes. And while I was watching his live stream, this earthquake happened, and he was able to go through all of the different analysis websites that he goes to, and I was watching it in real time. It was very, very interesting. So interesting. Yep. It's purging. I think I got this new moon, this new lunation right on the money with my purging interpretation, because I think that's what the earth is doing. We've had deaths, we've had earthquakes, we've had volcanoes, we've had tsunamis. I mean, holy moly. It's crazy. Cool. All right. Oh, Brian Hardy, welcome. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Yes, Dutch. Okay, so you guys know who Dutch is. Good. All right, my loves. Well, let me do this. I had to so the new updates with Microsoft, oh my God, they what they do is they create these security protocols that absolutely mess up your the discussion between your microphone and your computer. So you end up with this endless loop. And then the other update that came decided not to work with Zoom. So this is the third time I have uninstalled these updates, and I had to do it right before we went live. So that's always fun. That's my Mercury. All right, I have to actually open up the presentation too, because when you restart, everything shuts down. So talk amongst yourselves while I get this ready. I'm almost there. All right. Oh, later today or tomorrow, actually, it'll probably be tomorrow. You guys are going to get, or members first are going to get a members first video on a deep dive on the Venus, Jupiter, and Sirius conjunction through your natal house. And I'll show you how to do that. But don't worry, if you're not a channel member and you don't plan on being, this video will come out to the regular public, probably closer to that conjunction around the 10th or 11th of August. But if you do want to join the channel, it's only $4.99. We get a monthly get together on a Zoom call. It's private, but we do post it to the members only part of the YouTube channel. And we talk about the coming lunation and any, things that you're working with your astrology. So it's a really good call. It's a lot of fun. We go about an hour and a half. And I just love talking with you guys. So we did that on Saturday, like the day after I got back from Mexico. And then on Monday, I had Office Hours 5 with Stellar Foundations. And oh my God, they're coming together so beautifully with their skills. I'm just excited to see what they're going to do with their new astrology. So let me share the screen here. And what I'll do first is, like we normally do. Actually, I got to do one more thing. Sorry, guys. Golly, this is such a pain in the neck when you have to restart everything. I like to show you the sky in motion, and I also like to show you the chart in motion. So I have to open up all these programs that do that for me. Let me do that. Cool. All right, I got that ready to go. All right, now we're sharing. Okay, let me clear this off also. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, let's look at the sky. So this is my sky right now. So if I walk outside, this is what I look at. And I'm using the program. You can even see the moon today. I believe this is a Virgo moon. Let's check. Yep, it is right in the heart of. So the moon, you guys, is getting ready to do the burned path from Spica down to the galactic center. So the next week should be very interesting. I always love this time of month for just getting ideas and downloading and being creative. It may be different for you depending on where it moves in your chart. We have Mars just freshly in Virgo as well, in a grand trine with Pluto and Uranus shaking up the Earth. And then we've got Sun and Mercury in their actual Kazemi. So this is a big day too. I think the Kazemi is actually tomorrow, where Mercury will be behind the Sun. No, Mercury will be in front of the Sun. This is the highest peak of Mercury retrograde. So if you thought it was weird, wait till Mercury goes past this point. It's going to be even more chaotic in terms of your communication, your memory, where you left things, all that kind of stuff. Just hang in there. Try to limit the noise that you allow into your mental space, because everything that you think about, everything that you ponder can come true in this very, very powerful alignment. So if you're having, evil and dark thoughts during the next couple of days, watch out. Just, especially if you're letting your mind be influenced by it, either by your social media feed or what you're watching on television. All good thoughts, all good vibes, especially for people that are, working with difficult energies right now. You want to have good positive vibes for them. And then here is the star of the hour, Venus, who is entering into Gemini today. This is a very special part of the sky right here, because this is the outer bands of our Milky Way galaxy. If you take out the landscape here on stellarium-web.org, you can see that the other side of the sky is the galactic center, and the Milky Way comes right through this space here. In fact, Venus is standing on the sword of Orion right now. It's really quite beautiful and quite magnificent. And so we'll watch her in motion. She's going to be in Gemini until the 23rd of August. And she's making some interesting aspects, which we'll talk about. And there it is. This is Jupiter, by the way, this luscious planet right here. So Venus is moving through here. And this is when their conjunction aligns. Then she'll move past Jupiter. Jupiter will stay put. And around the, also right before this conjunction, guys, Mercury stations direct again. So big shift is coming in the middle of August. Then we get to the 23rd, and that's when Venus will be in the nurturing, empathetic, intuitive stars of Cancer. That'll be a quick transit because Cancer is very, very small. So, all right. So some other things that are happening here, which we'll probably get into when we look at the chart. That's the movement through the sky. That's what we're going to witness. The other thing I wanted to show you about our night sky, which is really, really spectacular, really, really beautiful. We're on yesterday. Let's go back to today. Let me put the landscape back in. I'm going to rewind this clock a little bit. Actually, I'm going to fast forward it to tomorrow morning. And we're going to look at the sky right before dawn. And you guys should do this. If you guys are early risers, check it out. It's amazing. Let me just check where the sun is. Okay, so yeah, sunrise will be right here. Let me zoom out a little. We'll go up by a few minutes here. Do you see what's starting to happen? Right before first light, star Sirius is rising. So if you have a very clear sky in the morning, now you may not, but this will get more and more profound and pronounced in the coming days. This is the heliacal rising of Sirius. This used to occur at the summer solstice thousands of years ago. And that pausing of the sun marked the summer solstice and marked the season of the flood season around the Nile, which was a season of fertility and growth and prosperity. So when the sun began to shift, when the solstice began to shift farther and farther away from this point, because where are we now? We're in August, and now we're finally seeing Sirius rise. So if we were still depending on Sirius to predict the flooding of the Nile River, we would have been flooded and gone by now. And that's precisely what happened as that alignment shifted through time. The same thing happened to the Mayans, and they predicted the shifting of this age that we're in right now. So it's really stunning. If you look at the sky, it's going to help you pinpoint exactly where you are in time and space. So that's awesome. Watch out how this gets more and more pronounced over the coming days, especially around the alignment of Jupiter and Venus when you look here. I'm just trying to show you some beautiful skies. So this is the same time every morning, but you see Sirius gets higher and higher and higher. And by the time we get to the 12th and the 13th, this is the conjunction. And you'll notice when I say conjunction, it's not like an ecliptic conjunction. It's just in a parallel line with this constellation. Sirius is actually in the constellation of Canis Major. Okay, so that's a tour of the skies. Let's go ahead and jump into the chart. We're going to animate this chart, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do it by day. So this is today. Venus is just now crossing this point right here. Let me get out my pen. Actually, I can't do the pen unless I'm in a PowerPoint. So if you see my cursor moving, this is the galactic band. This is the galactic ecliptic, and this slice of the sky is what we were just looking at. So this is a two-dimensional slice of that three-dimensional stellosphere, and the galactic ecliptic crosses right here. So Venus has just stepped over this. This is often called the Silver Gate. Okay. So we will go over this trine with Black Moon Lilith, and then we will talk about these other aspects that Venus is making. You can look in this column right here where my cursor is to see what Venus is busy doing. And we'll watch her move through Gemini, just like we did with the sky. So there you go. This is going to be an amazing portal right here, you guys. Amazing. And then August 4th, which is my birthday, I get an Ophiuchus moon. So that's my happy birthday present. All right, cool. Let me put this down. Let me go ahead and get into our presentation. This was just the intro. I just wanted to get you oriented to time and space. I'm not even going to give you the full download on Venus, but this will be very useful for you guys. All right. Venus, Sirius, and Jupiter. First, I want to thank all the channel members. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you. I didn't expect this many channel members to step up and support my work. And so I just wanted your names to be kind of on the big screen while I still had everyone's attention. And I just want to give you guys a round of applause. And if you're in the chat, I see a couple of you. So thank you so much for being here. Especially look up Astrology, who's always here. She's our moderator every time we are our lives. So thank you, Lori. I appreciate you. I love you so much. All right. This is the code we're going through today. So we're going to decode Venus's astrology through August 23rd. We're going to look at the individual aspects. I've created one of my signature calendars for the coming weeks. We are going to study Phi Day, which is August 13th. We're going to explain why Phi is so important and why this Venus-Jupiter alignment is important using numerology, using alchemology, and using the cards. August 13th in particular, the numerology of that date is associated with the Nagas, which are half serpent, half human deities of Hindu mysticism. And it basically just represents our creative and powerful side. These were deities that in a pantheon, just like our Roman pantheon and our Greek pantheon, full of, the shenanigans that they do and the heartbreak and the backstabbing and the lust and all of that. There's a whole story behind these characters. But I feel like the serpent energy is what's most associated with Venus and your creativity, your ability to create your immortality through either your progeny, your procreation, or your creative legacy. What is it you're going to be remembered for, and what is it that you leave behind? And it's deeply connected to your connection to this serpentine energy that's Venus. Another thing I didn't even mention in the intro was that August 13th is also the 144th day since Venus had her star point in Pisces. This happened on March 22nd. So if you go and you look back on my playlist, there is a Venus mega decode for that whole moment in time. And 144 is a Fibonacci number, and we count down and away from that moment by the Fibonacci numbers. And so this is not only Phi Day, this beautiful conjunction with star Sirius, but it is also the 144th day from that unique inferior conjunction with the sun. Then we'll talk about the influence of Jupiter with Venus using root 3 as one of the ciphers, and then Sirius stars alchemy. So I hope you guys strap in and enjoy this as much as I did in creating it. The keys we're going to use today are the Phi cipher. The Phi cipher is innately tied to Venus's celestial movements. She creates 5 star points within an 8-year period, making 13 orbits around our sun. And 5, 8, and 13 are the first few digits of the Fibonacci sequence. And the bigger the numbers get in the Fibonacci sequence, the closer and closer they get to 1.618 and this 28-digit or 26-digit irrational number. So these are all the numbers beyond the decimal. It includes 1.618, et cetera, et cetera. So we go 25 decimal digits to get this alphanumeric cipher. You can also take the number root 3, which is associated with the Vesica Piscis, which is a moment where you take 2 circles and you combine them, and the overlapping part of the circles creates the Pisces, the fish, the Pope hat, the NFL football, your DNA, all of that. And this ratio, this number is also an irrational number, and it's 1.73, et cetera, et cetera. The first 3 digits are permutations of 137, which is the fine structure constant. And if you go back on those decodes, I explain why all of that's important, and I do mention it whenever I do a decode. So these are the keys we're going to use. If you go to decoded.co, you can see probably 80 or 90 more ciphers that you can use, depending on what it is that you're looking for and what you want to do. Whatever it is you're trying to unlock, any key will work. It will take you down a path of synchronicity that shows you, or a path of coincidences that shows you the underlying etheric connection between all things. CosmicSugar.org is also a great resource under resources for the number of the numbers assigned to the tarot deck cards and to the playing deck cards, as well as days of the year and the card of your birthday. So let's go through the Venus astrology for those of you that are here for the forecast. This is through August 23rd. This is the map that we were recently on. I'm going to grab my pen because I like to doodle when I talk. And I'm going to break this down. This is where we've been. So we've already gone through a lot of this energy. This is last week. This is when we had all the Earth exits from amazing souls like Hulk Hogan and and Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, may they rest in peace. This was a profound week for that. And then we this is when I was in Mexico, and now we're back. And then yesterday was the earthquake and the volcanic eruptions and the tsunami, and they're going to feel aftershocks for that for a while. And it's because of Mars and Uranus and Pluto's grand trine in the Earth. They're shaking things up. It's a purging moon. When I read the energy for this new moon right here, it's only getting started. So we have a full moon coming on the 8th, and I think that'll be the peak of the disruptions that we'll be feeling, and I think we'll feel a little bit of it ease away as we enter into this amazing portal that's coming for us next month. And then, of course, here we are today as Venus enters into Gemini, crossing the Silver Gate. The two biggest aspects here are Venus square to retrograde Neptune and Saturn conjunct in Pisces, and Venus trine to retrograde Lilith in Aquarius. So we'll dive into those. This is just that final week on the previous calendar moved up. Okay, so I've just moved up the week that we're in right now to right here, just so you can see what we're working with this week and what's coming in the coming weeks. 13th right here. There it is. There's Phi Day. There's day 144 from the Venus star point. This is our full moon. I forgot to put the full moon. Well, this is kind of like a midnight cusp full moon. So depending on where you are in the world, this is the full moon right here. And like I said, Mercury will go direct right after the full moon. Then we have Phi Day, day 144. The energy is really beautiful. It's Venus conjunct Jupiter and Venus in a trine sextile to the lunar nodes. So this week should feel pretty good, pretty powerful for all of us. Then the following week, Venus will enter a square with Chiron, a trine with Black Moon Lilith, a trine with Saturn and Uranus, and an opposition to Pluto. So a lot of energy coming, but what we're going to focus on is where we are right now. We're going to look at this delicious couple of weeks here, and then I'll wind up the astrology with Venus entering into Cancer. And then the next time we do a Venus installment, we'll move the calendar forward. So that's basically how it'll go for the astrology. Like I said, I'm going to break it down week by week for you. I don't want you to be overwhelmed with these lines of astrology energy. We're here on the 30th. We are right in the middle of Venus in a Phoenix angle to Black Moon Lilith. So this is like an aha moment to bring through the energy of a soul level transformation. This is a 137.5 degree angle. In other words, this angle comes from the golden phi ratio of the circular arc distance on our chart, and it creates an angle that's 137 degrees. So it's the golden cut of becoming. Lilith in Libra reawakens the tension between authenticity and harmony, demanding that your beauty be honest and not performative. So in other words, you really need to come out with your raw self, your raw beauty, your unmade beauty. And this is going to serve you very well. I feel like I'm doing that right now with my computer being crazy, and I'm kind of neck deep in the middle of 4 shifts, 24-hour shifts during this week, but it had to come out. So yeah, this golden phoenix, this can be a quiet energy, but it's very potent upgrade to your inner frequency. And what happens when the codes inside of you change a little bit, it necessarily affects the ether around you, and you create a different vibration, which attracts new things to you. So I'm glad you're all here, because you're probably all in this vibe right now. You're all feeling this as this threshold is crossed by Venus, and as she makes a Phoenix angle to our Black Moon Lilith, our banished, our shadow, feminine, our wild, creative, and powerful side. Then tomorrow we have Sun and Mercury in their Kazemi. You have Mercury in between Sun and Earth. And like I said in the intro, this is the most powerful moment of Mercury's retrograde. Mercury will go direct on the 10th. So this is the peak. This is it right now. The next couple of days, hours, be really mindful with your thoughts. Be ready to manifest things immediately. So if your heart and soul's in it and something shows up for you, you obviously wanted it to be there. So embrace it, use it, and love it. All right. We're waning with our square to Mars. I've certainly felt this in my own personal life. This is a balancing between the masculine and feminine energy, and I think spending quite a bit of time with my husband was perfect for that. We were able to, kind of, you know, tampen down my masculine tendencies and uplift his, and vice versa. So that was really nice. But let's talk about this square. So the square of Venus to Saturn and Neptune. Now, Saturn and Neptune are both retrograde in Pisces. They are at 12 and 13 degrees. Venus is going to make a square to them over the next week. We're in it right now, and it will wane off after the weekend. The date of the influence of this orb is from the 27th of July to the 5th of August. So what that means is that I use a much wider orb of energy for Venus. It's because it's subtle and you want to tap into it the soonest you can feel it. Whereas if you look at a normal software system, it may show only 1 or 2 day conjunction, which happens to probably peak right around here. So the peak of this tension between Venus and Saturn and Neptune is also tomorrow. So we got a lot of big things coming still, a lot of aftershocks, so to speak. Let me see where I did that. Okay, here we go. This is this is what I have for this. So this is a fog meets wall moment, right? Venus is pulled between Saturn's boundaries and Neptune's dreams. And the square is forcing a clarity. So all of this that's happening to us, these ascension symptoms, these hiccups in our lives, the global changes, it is forcing a clarity to us. I think the way that people were able to be warned about this earthquake and what was happening was incredible. Stefan Burns' website, Dutch's website, it notified lots of people, and we were able to use social media to notify the world that this was happening, and all eyes were on that earthquake and on that epicenter. And when you've got all eyes like that, not looking at it for gore, but like literally looking at it because you pray for those people, because you want them to get out of harm's way, because you hope that the impact of whatever's going to happen is going to be as minimal as possible. And you have, millions of people tuning into it and sending that vibe that way. I think we're able to affect it. I really do. I know it sounds woo-woo and magical, but it's spiritual technology that we don't quite understand. And with all these amazing light codes coming in with Uranus in Taurus and Venus's home, conjunct the Pleiades, bringing in those codes, we're grounding it here into the earth, and we can feel things. We can feel things across the planet much more than we used to. All right, so this is kind of a big deal. This square here. So it's a refinement. It's stripping away what no longer resonates so that something truer can arise. So through the fog, through the mist, there's a gentle acceptance here that can happen. I think everything that we've been feeling as this week's been building up will finally integrate a little bit after tomorrow and Friday. So it's okay. Take a deep breath. We're going to get through it. These energies are always temporary, right? Let's look at the next set of energy coming. So this is the moment that really, I think, crowns this transit for Venus, is her conjunction to Jupiter. She's also going to be making a trine to Black Moon Lilith and a trine to the North Node, sextile to the South Node. So let me read the Venus trine to Black Moon Lilith. Before I do that, though, let me go back a step and talk to you about Venus trine Lilith, because this is also happening. We're also peaking in that energy right now. And the asteroid Lilith is more of intuition. So instead of it being your creative and dark force like Black Moon Lilith, it's more like your intuition. What is your gut telling you? What is your heart telling you? And this is the song of the sovereign outsider. Okay, imagine Aquarius energy, which is already sort of rebellious and punky, and then you put asteroid Lilith in there. The sovereign outsider. This individual, this energy is trine to Venus, and there's a flow of unconventional, quirky, beautiful, weird, unusual, and awesome. The feminine becomes unapologetically strange, electric, and true. This is an invitation to let go of polished performances and embrace your weirdness, your wisdom, and your resonance. So here we're talking about this purple line right here. So if you feel a creative idea stirring that doesn't quite fit this moment, this might be the moment to actually run with it. I'm struggling with some ideas that feel so good but feel so weird at the same time. And so this tension that I feel with Saturn and Neptune is being sort of urged forward in a very kind of electric way with asteroid Lilith. So Venus hears Lilith and says, "Let it be wild." So I think if you have that aha moment through the Phoenix angle and you have that integration tomorrow and Friday, that it might be more okay to come out with that weird and electric energy. So after Venus wanes with her trine with asteroid, she will make a trine with Black Moon Lilith, the apogee point. This is short because this is a very wobbly point on the ecliptic. It only lasts the first half of next week, from August 4th to August 7th, right before Sun enters Leo, right before the 8-8 Lion Gate. This is a big month, you guys. There's a lot of cool energy here. So let's talk about this. Black Moon Lilith is the space between things. She's chaos, the primordial darkness, the space where things are created without seed. They just spring from nothingness. Okay. And this is the quantum foam, the space between everything else, the ether where thought forms land and create oscillations and vibrations. So Black Moon Lilith is a powerful, powerful energy. I think it's more powerful and creative than Pluto. Pluto likes to just destroy for destruction's sake, but Black Moon Lilith is like create for fuck's sake. I mean, that's literally what her energy is. So let me read this one to you. So this is let's see, where did I put it? Right here, yeah. Okay. This is so Black Moon Lilith in Virgo is a sacred sensor, right? She's reading things through the body, not the intellect. The trine will allow Venus to trust her instinct over logic. Venus in Gemini trusts logic, loves logic, but the intuitive hit, the bodily no, or the magnetic yes all become valid data that don't necessarily have words. So the feminine's not just feeling, she's wise through the structure of these thought forms. So we should use this time to build containers that honor our own wildness. So whatever that means for you, that is what you should be doing after you go through this moment of today and tomorrow and the integration over the weekend. This next week is really where you can come out and be wild. So then Sun enters Leo on the 7th, 8th. We're at the Lion's Gate. And then following that, we have that Capricorn full moon. And that will be pretty much within the orb of Pluto, the power, the destruction of these structures, shaking of the ground. So I think we're going to see some more events, maybe in the next day or two, but I think it'll calm down after this moon. Let me talk about the aspect to the lunar nodes. Then I'll talk about Jupiter and Venus. Then we'll close out the rest of the month with the energies, and then we'll go into the decode. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Let me know if you are. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're lurking. Let's see. So I'm going to do Venus with the nodes. Here we go. All right. So our lunar nodes now. All right. North node is in Aquarius in constellational astrology, and the south node is in Leo. So we are done with that Virgo Pisces axis where we're bringing up the old traumatic ancestral motherline wounds and healing them through oneness and love and forgiveness. Now we're being asked to remember with the south node in Leo, our childlike divinity, our pure innocence, our connection to spirit, our, little kids when they're first born, they still have their superpowers, right? They can still read your mind. They can still see spirits. And so we should remember that we can do this, that we can communicate with spirits, that we can tap into our own precious divinity and be taken care of by Mother Earth, by Father Time, and by cosmic wisdom. So Venus in Gemini is making this nice aspect from basically the 8th of August until the 19th of August. So right along with that Jupiter conjunction, we get this same energy of karmic alignment. So the threads of destiny here are active. Venus is looking back at her past expressions, old creative identities, stories of being seen and needing approval, and lovingly releasing them. This is such a beautiful energy to do that. This is that south node. Like, you don't have to care anymore. You can just enjoy. The trine to the north node is a cosmic invitation to lead through authenticity and not performance. There it is again, finding your truth and not performing, just doing you. This sky is literally saying, if you want to create to your highest potential, you need to do you and just do it. So let your voice serve the collective and let your beauty ripple beyond you. So this is a beautiful time, literally, with all these amazing alignments. Phi Day, I'm going to get into in a little bit. Let's look at what's next as she wraps up her transit through Gemini. She's going to pick up another trine to Black Moon Lilith. This one will last a little bit longer. Again, this is a very wobbly point on our chart. We have about a week where we get to sort of attach to that divine feminine creative force once again, whether you're male or female. You know, if you're feeling like there's parts of you that are banished and that are unworthy, tap into that, stare that in the face, learn to love it, because that's where Black Moon Lilith lives for you. And when there's a trine to Venus, she's asking you to bring it up, to let that kundalini rise and to show who you are as a divine creator here on planet Earth, a divine embodiment of divine creation and cosmic wisdom. Venus will square on Chiron retrograde. Chiron went retrograde yesterday. So again, I forgot to mention that, but up here you see Chiron went retrograde. We had the earth shake, and we've had this phoenix angle to the most powerful feminine energy that we can't even really stare at in the face. Venus crossing the galactic center, Sun and Mercury in their Cazimi. All of this is right now, guys. So I feel you. I'm with you. It's going to feel very different when we get down to here. A Chiron retrograde I feel like is an easier energy for healing. There's not so much external pressure to be perfect, to be wholly integrated. In fact, the whole idea of letting go of all of that, of letting go of trying to heal who you are, like it just makes more sense. As I come to a fuller realization of who I am and what I'm evolving into, it's not about becoming perfect. It's about accepting who you are and just allowing yourself to be that way. And I think when you can do that, Chiron is an energy that helps you tap into your greatness. And what's greatness? Well, this is Pisces energy for Chiron. So Chiron the wound is disconnection from spirit in Pisces. But the greatness is reconnection to spirit, to divinity, to your source. So there's a challenge here to do this, because there's some freaky energy coming in through here with the Uranus placements and with Black Moon Lilith trining onto Venus. It may be that you're just like, okay, I'm not as crazy, weird, unlovable as I thought I was. I'm actually quite awesome, and I'm just going to be me. And I think people will benefit from that energy being out there. Okay. So this is kind of what you can embrace during this last week. And it'll be more gentle than I think a normal, like, direct square with Chiron might be. There still may be some hurt, there still may be some pain, but sometimes grief can be wonderfully cathartic, wonderfully erotic, wonderfully, just letting your body expel and purge all the things that you don't want to worry about anymore. So those painful moments will feel good after this square has come to us. All right. And then just a quick look ahead for the astrology, which I'm not even going to cover these in this presentation. I'll probably meet up with you guys when I get back from West Virginia on the 19th or 20th, and we will dive into the next few transits for Venus as she enters into Cancer and that Leo new moon. Guys, this is the last lunar cycle before we start getting into the eclipses also. I think September 9th is the next lunar eclipse, and then the new moon in September is the solar eclipse. So we are approaching an eclipse season as well. So there's no rest for the wicked. These cycles just keep coming. All right. Now, if you guys are interested at all in learning about what your Venus is doing in your chart, I do a deep dive on Venus. We do your whole chart, but basically it's from a Venus-centered look. So you gaze at your chart from how Venus might look at it. And then I give you 3 months of what the transiting Venus is doing to your natal planets and what the transiting planets are doing to your natal Venus. It's freakishly accurate. If you want to follow Venus cycles and you really want to be in that energy of flow and release and receive, this is an energy you need to focus on, and I can help you with that. So if you're interested, the links are below for that. And then also I told you about this conference, this launch event that's coming on September 7th, September 27th. And I'd love for you to support us and join us on this event. And it's free registration. So if you go to siderealinternational.org, you can register for that event. And then, of course, the Hellenistic Techniques course. The early bird pricing will go till Friday, and then we are going to increase the price, and then we're meeting on the full moon on 8/8. Friday night. We're going to probably go about 3 hours, so make sure you've had your dinner before you show up. All right, friends, I'm just going to sip some water, take a deep breath, because we got more. These last slides should go faster than the first, because I don't need to dive in too deeply to this. You guys will just sort of see the coincidences and the synchronicities falling out as we discuss these energies. Now, I know you guys that have been following me remember these timelines that I created. I did one previously for Venus's retrograde, which was in March. This calendar starts around the 15th of April and ends on the 5th of November. And these numbers that you see here are Fibonacci numbers that are counting away from that inferior conjunction with Venus and Sun, that star point on March 22nd. So we were counting away from that. And Phi Day, or 813, falls on that 144th day. So I just thought that was very interesting. I wanted to show you that. The numerology for 8/13/2025 is 21. Like, it literally is the number 21. Well, who cares? Why do you care that it's 21? Well, watch this. Phi in the Phi cipher is 21. So if you spell the word phi and you put it into that irrational alphanumeric cipher, you're going to also get the number 21. And I just think that's very interesting that 813, 138, Phi day, 144 days, which is a Fibonacci number away from Venus's star point, is 21. Phi is 21. And this is why it's Phi day, because if you divide 365 by Phi, you get 225. It is the 225th day of the year. So this is why it's Phi day. This is why it's important. This is why it's all coded and connected with the astrology, with the energy. You can see here that August 13th is the 225th day. It's 226 if you have a leap year, but we're doing the code right now. And look at that. I didn't even plan this. It's slide 21. Get out of here. So that's cool. Here's the Fibonacci number. Here is the sequence. This is where the golden ratio comes from. This is where that cipher comes from. So you can see the sequences here. And basically, it's just adding the previous number by the current number to get the next number. So 1 + 1 is 2, 1 + 2 is 3, 2 + 3 is 5. It's a very simple formula. And you can see 144 is one of the numbers. 5, 8, and 13 are the dance between Sun, Venus, and Earth. The 5-pointed star, the 8 Earth years, the 13 Venus orbits. And so once you start dividing 13 into 21, you get 1.6, and then the number gets more and more irrational and closer to that number. And it creates a spiral. And this spiral is important. You see this spiral everywhere. And this spiral right here is represented in a 2-dimensional fashion, or even 1-dimensional fashion even. And it's actually a 4th-dimensional structure. Okay, so understand that this frequency that Venus has with the Sun and with the Earth encodes this spiral, which is the matrix of creation. This is how thoughts become things, through this manipulation, movement of energy, through the fine structure of the universe. And this is what results. You get cyclones, you get the conch shell, you get embryos, you get galaxies. And you get ratios of petallation on flowers and pine cones that are using the numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. And then here is a representation of that Venus star. So if we take this from Earth's perspective, here being in the middle, this is Venus, and this is an 8-year path that she traces. I mean, this is incredible. This is what we are in the middle of. We are in the middle of this 5-pointed star that takes 8 Earth years, that is 13 Venus orbits, that is the spiral of creation. We're in the middle of it. So August 13th in particular, and the energy of the Nagas. Let's look into this. Again, we're going to take the date, which is 8/13/2025. We know that it's 21. If you take the number 21 and you look into the periodic table, the 21st element is scandium. And if you'll notice the graphic that the Royal Chemistry Society associated with scandium, this is essentially a shamanic figure taming the serpents. This is serpent energy here. Okay, so how is that such an interesting coincidence? I mean, that is a coincidence, right? Or is it a synchronicity? Is it me using the keys that unlock this energy to show you the synchronicities, just making itself apparent? This is where synchronicities come from. 21 is also Nagas. So if you type the word Nagas into the Phi cipher, you get 21. And then if you put Nagas into the root 3 cipher, you get 13, which is a Fibonacci number right there. So I just thought that was very interesting that this particular word also echoes back the Fibonacci sequence, which is the encoding for the golden ratio. It gets more interesting. So again, phi is 21. If we spell phi, phi is also the 21st letter in the Greek alphabet. So, phi is 21 in its own cipher. It's 21 in the Greek alphabet. Phi day, which is the fractional phi day of the year, is also 21. Nagas is 21. And here's what's also interesting. There's a website you can go to called subidium.com to look for a number in the string of the irrational number, in the digits past the decimal point. And 45, which is scandium's atomic weight, is the 21st decimal digit of the golden ratio string. So if you count 21 digits, 45 is right there. So again, we have the string of digits, we have the decoding cipher, we have all of this connected through 21 and 45. Aphrodite is 45. That's Venus, by the way, in the Greek mythology. So, I mean, I guess I could have put her in the Greek cipher, but I used her Greek name in the Phi cipher, and I get 45. Fibonacci is also 45. So, wow. Isn't this cool? All right, I think we're on to the next topic. Yeah, so the 144 spiral. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, so I mentioned in the beginning that Phi Day is also day 144 away from Venus's inferior conjunction with the sun, her star point. So when she makes this motion right here, when she makes one of these loops and she is in this alignment with Earth, where they're the closest any two planets in our entire solar system get together, that was March 22nd. We are 144 days away from that on August 13th. Oh, and look at that. It's slide 33, because 13 in the Phi cipher is 33, and 13 is a Fibonacci number. So 144 is a Fibonacci number. If you start with 0, it's the 13th Fibonacci number. If you start with 1, it's the 12th Fibonacci number. There's the sequence. 144 is 111 if you spell it out in the Phi cipher. So 144. Now 111, if you saw my decode on the retrograde motions, you'll know this is a big deal too, because whenever you have a repeating digit under 1,000 and you divide it by the same repeating digits that are added together, you get the number 37, regardless of which number you use. 37 special, because 37 spells spirals in the Phi cipher. So if you type in the word spirals, you get the number 37. So 144 is part of the spiral sequence that we're counting away from this Venus star point. And there's your spiral. There's the Fibonacci sequence in action right there. Creation into matter. That's what Venus does. That's what her symbol means. You have spirit is the circle and matter is the cross. And the spiral is how it's done, through the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. Now I'm just going to keep that shell up there and the word spirals because we have another little bit to look at here. Venus in the Phi cipher is 20. And when we go back to our periodic table, our alchemology, and we look at the 20th element, we get calcium. And wouldn't you know it, here is another coincidence pointing to the beautiful synchronicity that we've just been discussing. Here's a spiral. Why in the world would it have a spiral there? It has a spiral there because calcium is what built this shell. It's made from calcium compounds. So there that is. Let's look at Venus with Jupiter's energy. And we're going to look at the root 3 cipher a little bit here too. Just taking the Phi cipher that we're used to, that we love, we have Venus conjunct Jupiter is 83. And 83 is bismuth in the periodic table. And look at this. It's the 8, your Fibonacci number. The 8, this influence of energy that you see on the background slide of Venus and Jupiter moving with each other. They're creating this toroidal field of influence, of abundance, of expansion, of creativity. And I just thought it was perfect. Again, these pictures that are coming up from the Royal Chemistry Society are amazing. And here we are at slide 45. There's your 5-pointed star with 8 Earth years and 13 Venus orbits. Once again, just echoing back to the Fibonacci sequence. Now, 209 is bismuth's atomic weight. And I wanted to see where that landed in the golden Phi string. And it was 1,730, which is interesting. I don't, so it was 1729 and 1730 and 1731 are the digits of 209 here. So this would be 730, 731, 732. But if you look at these digits, you can cross out the 0 in numerology because it has infinite potential. But there's your 1.73, which is root 3, which is a permutation of the fine structure constant. So that's very interesting. So let me just back up and show you why root 3 is so cool. And I'm going to use Venus to do that. So you've seen this timeline before. This is the current one we're in right now. I'm going to take you back in time and show you the one that we were working with. Those of you that have been following me probably remember these. And I showed it to you every single time we talked about Venus. But this is really what was going on here. We had Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, Venus and Mercury in between Earth and Sun at the same time as we were having a lunar and solar eclipse. It was a very powerful portal of energy. It took me a couple months to literally recover from going through that eclipse portal. But as you can see here, I'm counting up to, I was counting up to from the beginning of the year, and I've been counting away from this point in time using the Fibonacci sequence. Okay. And each time you add the next number to the previous number, the spacing gets larger and larger, which exactly mimics the frequency or the intensity of energy that we get from a planet being that close to Earth. This planet actually affects our gravity when it's in its inferior conjunction. Okay. So it's an energetic portal here of some sort, and it feels right to count away from it and to it using the Fibonacci sequence, because what you can do now is go ahead and apply those spirals to this time frame. And so what I'm going to do is put one spiral in one dimension, and you can see it lands pretty nicely with those Fibonacci numbers. This is a Fibonacci spiral, and its center point is the Venus star point. Let's add it in 2 dimensions now, and you can see an incredible shape taking place here. Let's go ahead and add 3 and 4 dimensions. And what do you see? You see the Vesica Pisces. You see a piece of the flower of life drilled down all the way to the Planck length, where creation starts. So this is literally a portal of creation right here in 4 dimensions, if you apply the Fibonacci spiral using the golden ratio. And it also looks exactly like your third eye chakra glyph, the Anahata. Is it Anja chakra? The Anja chakra. So your third eye, connecting with visions. Now, here is one of those spirals taken in 2 dimensions. This is the vesica piscis right here. And the longer length where the 2 spheres meet one another is root 3. This is, in fact, this is the lowest ratio you get, where you can get a 1, a 2, and a root 3. This is the highest fraction of 1 and root 3, where you get whole numbers. So the denominator here, which would normally be a length of 1, is now 153, and that permutates out to a number 265. If you were to divide this number into 265, you would get 1.73. Okay, you would get the irrational number of root 3. That's essentially what this fraction is showing you. 153 is pretty interesting, because if you add the first 17 numbers of our number string, one in base 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 17, if you add them all together, you get the number 153. And here is that cipher. So 1 and 7 are the first 2 digits. Here is how the numbers correlate to the letters. Here's another interesting thing about the vesica piscis, is that if you take the center point where these 2 circles cross right here that we just looked at on this spiral, so we're talking about basically from this point to this point in terms of geometry, this is phi. So this number is 1.618. So this is 1, this is root 3, and this is phi. Okay, so phi is tied into everything. It's tied into the flower of life that's created through this geometry. It has an energetic imprint that is spiraling all the way down to the Planck length. So it's definitely something to consider and to think about. Let's see, there's the phi cipher, 1.173 and 173. So now you know why we want to use this cipher and why it's important. We can also type in Venus conjunct Jupiter in the root 3 cipher, and we get the number 93. You'll notice that Jupiter is 30, and Jupiter is expansive. So it's almost as if Jupiter wants to make a nod to this root 3 cipher and say, yeah, I'm into this, because my number is the same as expansive. Expansive in Jupiter, the same exact energy, the same exact number. And also, if you'll notice, Venus is 20 in both ciphers too, which I think I point out later. But 93 is Neptunium, and Neptune is the lord of Pisces, or the ruler of Pisces, which is the vesica piscis. Okay, so for this cipher to Venus conjunct Jupiter to point us to Neptunium, the ruler of the vesica piscis, I find that very interesting. This trident is the symbol of Neptune in your birth chart. And there it is, Pisces, the ruler of Pisces, and here's your Pisces, the 2 fish swimming away from each other. The age of Pisces, which we're thankfully bringing to an agonizing end. All right. Venus is 20 in both ciphers, both the phi cipher and the root 3 cipher. So I think it's a good match, a good fit to use for interpreting Venus energy. But Venus in Gemini, now the stars in Gemini, Castor and Pollux, are also both 71. So if you look in the constellation that Venus is transiting right now, those 2 twin stars, that's Castor and Pollux. And you put that into the phi cipher, you get 71. You put that into the root cipher, you get 71. 71 is this card, the 7 of Pentacles in our tarot deck. And it is the 71st card. Now, this correlates to, this is an energy of sort of looking at what you've created and considering what you want to keep and destroy. That's literally what this card says to me. And so I feel like we're in that portal right now with Venus, and I feel like that makes a lot of sense. And when we look up the corresponding card in the playing cards deck, it's 71. It's the 7 of Diamonds, which is the 33rd card. So again, it's coming back to that 33 energy, the Christos energy, the energy of Gnosis. Creation itself is 33 in both ciphers. So if you type in creation in phi and you type it into root 3, you get 33. Okay, so that's fun. Are you seeing this? This is so amazing to me. I love these connections. And of course, the fine structure constant 137 is the 33rd prime. Look at all those 1s and 3s and 7s on the screen right now. It's amazing. And it's slide 71. Again, I didn't plan that either. All right, cool. Let's see. All right, this should be the last section. It's Sirius stars alchemy. So the star Sirius is involved in this conjunction. We have Venus in Gemini. This comes to 72 in our Phi cipher. And 72 is the star. And the reason I say it's the star is because the star that is traced here by Venus and her path around the sun and Earth is the 5-pointed star. And when you draw this perfectly, it is also a repeating fractal energy because you can repeat the star all the way down to the Planck length as well. You can keep drawing this star over and over and over at these perfect angles. And you keep going and keep going and keep going. Okay, so it's another way to look at that fourth dimensional spiral structure we were looking at. And I think if you take the polydodecahedron and you rotate it in 4 dimensions, you can get an image like this to pop out. It's really stunning. So there's the star. Its angles outside of the pentagram are 72, and there's 10 of those angles there. So that's interesting. This angle up here, the 5 points are going to be 36, each one of them. So one complete pentacle and pentagram has 108, 72, and 36. And creativity, while creation is 33 in the Phi cipher, creativity is 36, which is also one of these angles. So again, Venus in Gemini is a creative energy. You're pulling all of your force and desire into creating something here, something that's intelligent, something that's useful, something that's helpful. Phi day, which is 813, is also 36. And here's another interesting thing about this star. I know some of you have seen me talk about this before, but if you take this line, let's take this green line, and let's take this red line, and we're going to take the red line, and let's say we give it some number, but we divide it by the number of the green line, you're going to get phi. You're going to get that 1.618. Okay. If you take the blue line and you divide its length into the length of the green line, you're also going to get 1.618. You're going to do the purple line with the blue line, same thing. It is an endless spiral of the phi ratio using the angles of 36, 72, and 108. What was I going to put right here for you? Oh, I was going to do the doodle I just did, so I don't have to do that. But hafnium is 72 in our periodic table. It is number 72, and I just love it. It's got moons and stars on it. So it's connecting us to the astrology. It's just a neat little synchronicity and or coincidence. Sirius, star Sirius, is also 36. It is 36 in the Phi cipher. And wouldn't you know it, 17 in root 3, which is the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 equaling 153, pointing us back to the Vesica Piscis. Venus, Jupiter, and Sirius together is 82. Now watch what happens here. If I multiply 82 by Phi, and we can do this because we're working with Phi day, we did that with 365 days, so why not do it with the actual conjunction itself and see what we get? So 82 divided by Phi gives us 50. And 50 is a fantastic number for this decode, and I'm about to show you why. So remember, we're taking the combined energy of Venus, Jupiter, and Sirius, and we're dividing it by the ratio of the golden mean, and we're getting the number 50. And here, it's pretty darn close to the atomic mass of vanadium, V for Venus, the 23rd element. Okay, I like that. That's an awesome connection. This is the symbol for vanadium in the Royal Chemistry Society right here. It looks an awful lot like Venus, doesn't it? Or an ankh with a dress. It just looks feminine. It looks female. So that's very interesting that all of these graphics that are coming up with the alchemology we're using seems to coincide. And then this was the humdinger for this one. That symbol right there is based on an 8th century figurine of the Scandinavian goddess Freya, who is the goddess, the feminine goddess. This is why Venus's day is Friday, because she is one of the goddesses that are associated with the divine feminine energy. And it just so happens to be in the 13th century. I mean, I rest my case. I have a few more slides, but this is really, really interesting, don't you think? So star Sirius is 51, which is pretty close to vanadium's atomic mass. And the 50th element, tin, why did I want to do that? Oh, is associated with Jupiter. So Jupiter's element is tin. And that was very interesting that 50 came up and the 50th element is Jupiter's element. So we have vanadium for Venus, we have tin with Jupiter, and then we have star Sirius connected to Venus through vanadium. Right, that's right, Jupiter. Okay, so a couple more connections. Let's see. Oh, yeah, tin is also associated with your third eye chakra. So if you're working with expanding your visions, tin is a nice element to have around, along with lapis lazuli or lazuli, and any other stone that helps to open your third eye up. So I thought immediately about third eye. I typed it into the Phi cipher and I got 37, which is spirals, and I got 30, which is Jupiter. So, wow. All right, there's your connection. So I think we're going to be exposed to some amazing cosmic visions, maybe through this conjunction with Star Sirius, the Scorcher. It might be the energy that we should focus on instead of the world falling apart around us. I mean, obviously, keep yourself safe, but and just one last point here. There might be another point after this, but the number 82 is on at the 130 as the 173rd decimal digit of Golden Phi. So tying it back into our ciphers, tying it back into the fine structure constant, tying the astrology energy into the golden ratio. So that was cool. And of course, we have root 3 here because it's 1.73. And star Sirius in the root 3 cipher is 35. And then, of course, bromine is the 35th element, and it has a melting point of 137 degrees. So again, connecting star Sirius into this energy as well. And of course, bromine's atomic mass associates the number 79 with the atomic number 79, which is gold, which is aura, and the billionaire planet, which is Venus, is 79. And that's her nickname. That's what some astrologers call her, tongue in cheek. So we have come to the end of this presentation. Oh my gosh, I made it in under 90 minutes. This is amazing. Hopefully I didn't go too fast for you. The word thank you is 42 in both the Phi cipher and the root 3 cipher. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming. Stick around if you want me to answer any questions. Let me know how you're feeling about this decode. I'll chat with you guys for a little bit. But these are the resources you can go to if you want to decode. If you're interested in learning about these ciphers, go to decoded.co. Cosmic Sugar for the cards, and Royal Society of Chemistry for the alchemy. Number Empire to find prime numbers, Subidium to find your numbers in the string of digits. ChemSpeller is a lot of fun too. And then my astrology software is Capricorn Prometheus. And of course, I follow source as much as I can. I follow my intuitive nudges. I follow my creative urges, and I go down the path it takes me. And so if it's decoding, if it's meditations, if it's teaching, it's what I'm doing. And then when I do the decoding, I find all these amazing synchronicities, and life is incredibly joyful. So I encourage you guys to also become decoders so you can find the beautiful synchronicities in your life. All right. So let me stop sharing and see how you guys are doing. Yeah, I took off my jacket. I get a little hot when I do astrology. Oh, all right. Let's see. My phone's ringing. I'm not going to answer that. Okay. So how are you guys doing? All right. Let me see. Where did I leave off here? All right. Lori says, so excited. Brian asked me if I'm going to show the ISAA, the Golden Phoenix angle. Yes, I am. That will be part of my presentation. So hopefully I can do it in a few slides and not like have diarrhea of the mouth about it. I have to figure out how to make it really, really simple so that it's impactful and so people want to learn more. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. Azteca says, happy solar return. Yes, thank you. I'm old enough where it actually happens the day before my actual birthday. So the solar return is when the sun actually meets the exact degrees of where your sun was the day you were born. And for me, it has drifted backwards into August 3rd. So I can celebrate my solar return on the 3rd and my actual birthday on the 4th. Thank you. Thank you. Lady Spellbreaker watches Dutch Sins. How do you say that? Dutch Sins? Dutch Sinnins? I just can't say his name very well. Let's see. KCKNE is here. All right. Stefan Flo's here. Lorna is here. Bobby. All right. You guys are so kind and wonderful to each other. I love that. So Brian says, yesterday my mom asked, what's the other star in the sky? Yeah, my mom's done that too. She's pointed up at star Venus and said, ooh, what's that star? I said, that's Venus. So, yes. All right. Teresa says, note the color Sirius relays to you. If you watch its heliacal rising, it has meaning. Yeah. At the end of the Egyptian Empire, it was recorded as a red star, and now it's a blue star. So it's theoretically, when you have blue shift, it means it's approaching you. So that's what we should be having. All right. We are happy to be here. Love you. Love this community. Teresa says, crazy astrology does Babylonian astrology. She just mentioned that, especially if you can watch Sirius and Venus that day, and I believe Jupiter. Yeah, it's a powerful portal. I don't care what astrology system you use. It's amazing. Teresa, you have to wake up at 4 in the morning, so you should be able to see this morning alignment for sure. Oh, Have Bliss is having a hard fukin, whatever the fuck it is. Yep. I feel you. I feel you, sister. Christine Yan made it in. Hello, my love. All right. I'm getting a lot of fires. I'm getting a lot of bams. Thank you guys so much. Oh, Lady Spellbreaker said she had a feigning spell a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I think especially those of you that are sensitives. I mean, I'm feeling it. Like it's just always gut for me. You know, it's always like diarrhea or something like that. That's when I know that the earth is going through something, because it's going through me too. Sometimes I'll get dizzy spells. Sometimes I'll feel really tired and just want to sleep. Oh, Seema Dragon came in there. Hello, my friend. Hola. Welcome. Yeah, I did say the F-bomb. Sorry. It's just Lilith. She does that to me. So hopefully I won't get censored. All right. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. We had a very lively crew today. Lady Spellbreaker says, I did a shimmy and make the earth move, stomp, heel toe, do-si do, like Shania Twain. Good. I think, yeah, we should all do that. Azteca says, both thumbs effing up. Awesome. Yeah, our workshop for the Hellenistic class is on 8/8, and we just had that 8/8 magnitude earthquake. Brian says, why have I never heard of a Kazemi before? Well, I don't always use that word. I usually use the astronomical word for it, like inferior conjunction or superior conjunction. But the inferior conjunction is the Kazemi, and the superior conjunction is the combust. So the difference is when a planet is on the other side of the sun and the sun is in front of it, the sun is basically consuming and burning out all of that archetypical energy of that planet. So unless it's in an inferior conjunction, which only 2 planets can do that, Venus and Mercury, and that's when they move in between the 2 planets, so you get the cazimi. Now, Venus actually crossed in front of the sun. You could see it through the telescopes back in, I wanna say 2011 or something like that, and she won't do that again for another, like, 200 years. So, there was a very big moment for Venus on one of her inferior retrogrades not too long ago, about 15 years ago. So, that's cazimi. Step into Flow says, "I was born in Chiron retrograde. How can I use what's useful about that?" Well, Chiron retrograde is closer to you, so it means that you may be less hard on yourself, in an external way. Like, you may suffer internally, but you don't show it. That might be, a useful awareness to have. I mean, I don't know if it's useful for making you feel better. Like, Chiron doesn't necessarily make us feel better. It's just, accepting and understanding and loving yourself for who you are and what you are. That's really Chiron's lesson, the full integration. Lady Spellbreaker's been feeling, yes, the purge of grief, child loss. We have to let it all out. So yeah, grief can feel good. And that's Chiron's job, to sort of pull some grief through us. Pluto as well. Step into Flow wants a Venus reading as her birthday wish. Well, it's an amazing reading. It'll blow your mind. I love doing those readings too. They're incredible. They take me a while, but it's worth it. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, we had a few humdingers in that decode. Awesome. Goodness gracious, you guys are lively. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Prophet says, "How in the heck did you learn to do this? What's missing in my brain?" I don't know. My husband says that I have a very unique brain, so it could be that. It surprises me that not everybody can think the way I do at some points. I'm like, okay, all right, I have to slow my roll and explain things slowly so people can understand. But yeah, I think I don't know. It could be a brain tumor. I don't know. No, I've always been into math and science, and I've always been creative. I think my parents fostered both in me, and so I never really suppressed either. I was good at math, I was good at science, but I was also very good at expressing myself in art and dance and music. So, Seven of Flow says, "Yep, 153 fishers of men." Yes, Teresa, good point for Prophet. Everything I know is because of Logan. What I discover is on my own, but I've used his techniques to show you what I've found. So yeah, he's very good at teaching you how to do these things too. So check his website out. Decode Your Reality. It's I don't know, maybe Lori can put his website up there, or his YouTube channel in there for those of you that haven't seen him. He's coming to the channel soon. Actually, I think the 13th. I think he's actually coming on Phi Day. So yeah, we're going to talk about Phi. So all right, Christine is here. Yay, caught you in a live. Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Good, good. All right. So Christine says she's one of my students in Stellar Foundations, and she's using this astrology for the work that she does, and I'm proud of her for doing that. And I think it's awesome. She did a reading today for an Ophiuchus sun, and in this course is I don't know, it's like, what is it, like 47 pages or 48 pages or something like that. You get the sun, moon, rising for every constellation, including Ophiuchus, and so that was very helpful for her when she was reading that energy. And Christine's already an intuitive and an oracle, so when you get the message through the words that you read, you feel into that, and then your own mind clicks on, and you can read for people. You can expand on that. Yeah. Oh, Vesteka, you're so sweet. Good, good. Oh, Lady Spellbreaker, thank you for helping me pronounce Dutch sense. Dutch sense. Okay, Dutch sense. He really should spell that better, unless that's his actual last name. Awesome. Good day. Yes, strong day for manifestation tomorrow, as Mercury is conjunct the sun. Yes, I said an F-bomb, sorry. I actually cuss a lot more than you guys think I do. I try to be very appropriate when I'm on the internet, but, yeah. So good. All right, guys. Yep, I love me some Logan too. I'm excited to have him on the channel. I tried to reach out to him to see him when we were in Mexico, but, and he did respond, but we were, like, too far away. It was, like, an hour away. He doesn't have a car. We were sort of in a really comfy spot, so it didn't really work out, but that would've been cool to meet him. That's okay. I get it. I get it. All right, cool. Cool, you guys. Well, you've been just a wonderful, lovely audience. I feel your energy. It feels so good. And I'm so grateful and happy that we could be here together looking through this information. Like I said, I'll probably go live on Sunday because we have to talk about the full moon coming. This is another big humdinger coming. So I'm looking at that over the next couple of days, and we will get into that on Sunday probably. If not, I'll do it on Monday. I'll come see you guys on my birthday, but I'll let you know. Thanks for posting Logan's channel there, Miss Lori, so people can check him out. If you don't know who he is, you should go. If you understand what I'm doing, then you will for sure definitely get into what he's doing. He comes off a little bit more rough though, so like hard pill to swallow, but a good pill. So just hear him out, let him do his thing, and eventually you'll be amazed. Christine Yan says, I was born on 7/31. Awesome. Yes, the fine structure day. Good, good. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to plop in the outro, why we decode, so that you guys can have a nice final message for why it's important to point out these synchronicities, because it changes the alchemistry in your brain so that you see the synchronicities, you see the connections, you see when spirit's trying to show you the way and talk to you. So I love you all for being here, and I'll see you next time. You were never afraid of the dark. Even before you had the words, you felt the pull. A call from the void. Something deeper than thought and older than memory. So you followed it. Inside, it all came rushing in. Numbers, symbols, patterns. The cosmic code revealing itself in waves. Not to confuse you, but to remind you. You've seen this before. You've read this language in another life. Your mind began to understand. But it was your heart that truly remembered. This is what decoding really is. Reuniting the thinking and the feeling, the logic and the soul. This is how you wake up. And when you do, you are not the same. You carry light codes now. You move differently. You speak in frequencies because you remember who you are. You decode to find your way home and to help others do the same. This is why we decode.